continuing with pirkei avot. So let's put a bigger picture on the Mishnah we last learned. From Rabbi Shua ben Prachya, Aseh lecha Rav, make for yourself a Rebbe, Bnei lecha chaver, and acquire for yourself a friend. Havidonis kol ha'adam l'kafskos, and give everyone the benefit of the doubt. So we spoke about each of these clauses. Let's perhaps try to put a different picture on this Mishnah in its entirety, working from backwards to forwards. There's a great importance, as we spoke about, Aseh lecha Rav, making yourself a Rebbe, and also Bnei lecha chaver, to literally, acquire for yourself a friend. We spoke about the currency of care and concern and loyalty. But let's work from the back end of the Mishnah and see how it applies to the first parts. That you should give everyone the benefit of the doubt. If you give everyone the benefit of the doubt, then the first two are possibilities. If you want to have a good friend, even with all of your loyalty and all of your care and concern, if you don't give people the benefit of the doubt, and you rather just X them off as you find something that they seem to have done wrong, or even if they did do wrong, but you're not seeing the whole picture and you're just focusing on the negative, you're not going to have friends for too long. If you're always noticing the problems, you're not going to be able to be Bnei lecha chaver, to have a good friend. And you won't have Aseh lecha Rav. You won't be able to make a Rebbe for yourself. You know, human beings, a Rebbe, even though you're supposed to view him as a malach, but one must recognize that, human beings make mistakes. And if you want to have such a relationship with a Rebbe, so you also have to be willing to overlook things as well in every relationship, whether it's a friend, whether it's a Rebbe, whether it's a spouse, in all areas. If we're not willing to be havidonis kol ha'adam l'kafskos, if we're not willing to see the goodness in people and give them the benefit of the doubt and think of them in more positive terms, if we are not willing to do that, we will not be able to have successful relationships. Now, let me share with you one more very powerful idea, which perhaps is existing in this Mishnah. Rabbi Yoshua ben Prachya here is the one who said, Aseh lecha Rav, that he speaks of the importance of making your Rebbe your Rebbe. As we spoke about, it doesn't just happen, you have to make it happen. Well, Rabbi Yoshua ben Prachya, perhaps this is an intention in the Mishnah, I do not know, but there's something significant historically that would seem to link with this Mishnah. Rabbi Yoshua ben Prachya had a very famous Talmud, a very famous disciple, who was rather infamous, shall we say. It was Yashka. Yashka was there may have been more than one, okay, but there definitely was a Talmud by the name of Yeshu, and some attributed to being the Christian Yashka. Others say there were two. Either way, this person was not a good person. In any case, Rabbi Yoshua ben Prachya had this disciple, Yeshu, okay? Let's think about Aseh lecha Rav, the importance of making your Rebbe. So there's some background that the Gemara offers to us. The Gemara says something very interesting. The Gemara says that a person should always push away with one's left and draw closer with the right. Okay, the small is doiche, the left hand pushes away, and yamin mikareves, the right hand draws close. It's sort of beautiful explanation. When you do that, when you push with your left, you pull with your right, eventually you'll turn the person around. The Gemara says not like, and one of the examples is Rabbi Yoshua ben Prachya, who pushed away his Talmud too strongly. So that's a different discussion about Rabbi Shua ben Prachya, but let's listen to the story. The Gemara tells us that Rabbi Shua ben Prachya was running away with Yashka, and they were running away. They ran to Alexandria of Mitzrayim, and they came to an inn, and they were treated very well there. So Rabbi Shua ben Prachya said, see Kama Yafa, see how beautiful this woman, this innkeeper is. Certainly he was referring to how well she had treated them. What a beautiful innkeeper here. So the disciple Yashka over here, he says, Rebbe Eineha Truthais, her eyes are round. She's not so pretty. So the Rebbe says, Rasha, that's what your mind is on? That's what you're thinking about? He had no intention to speak in such terms. That would be inappropriate. So he put him in chayrim, put him in halachic ostracism. Okay? The Gemara tells a little bit more to the story. But for now, so let's add one more point. The Gemara in Gittin says that Onkelos, when he was looking to convert, so he summoned many people from the dead. One of them was Yashka, and he summoned Yashka. Much of this is omitted from the Gemara. It was censored. The censors took it out. Christian censors or Jews, for fear of getting in trouble. Who knows? But we have it. We have these texts. In any case, so the Gemara says that Onkelos asked him, what's going on with you in the next world? He says, I'm being boiled in feces. Why? In hot feces. Why? Because anyone, kol hamalig al divrei chachamim, anyone who mocks the words of the chachamim is nidoin b'tzoya roisachas, is judged in hot feces. So where do we find that Yashka was malig al divrei chachamim, that he mocked the words of the chachamim? I believe the answer is the first story that we have, where the Rebbe was talking about the beautiful actions of the innkeeper, and Yashka misinterprets it according to his yardstick and his perception and his way of thinking with his dirty mind. He's thinking in those terms. Now, there's a flaw. It's not just about his own perception. It's a flaw in how he viewed his Rebbe. Regardless of how a person thinks, forget about what I'm thinking, but if my Rebbe said something, I need to know that that's Torah. I need to know that his words are sacred. So I need to think about his words in such terms. To interpret his Rebbe's words like that showed that he wasn't making him his Rebbe. It wasn't a Selach Harav. He may have been learning by him. He may have been studying by him. He may have called himself a disciple, but it wasn't a Selach Harav. He didn't make him his Rebbe. He didn't put his Rebbe up on the pedestal. So that if you do not see your Rebbe's words as sacred, and there is always more than meets the eye, and there's always more depth beyond the surface to my Rebbe's words, even when he's speaking about mundane matters. So if one does not automatically think in those terms, it's not a Selach Harav. You haven't made him your Rebbe. And that is, in essence, mocking the words of the Rebbe, whether you make fun of it or not. The point is, when you mock, there's something that is to be important, and you're making it unimportant. So if your Rebbe's words are important, you put it on the pedestal, you think about it, you turn it over, you ponder it, you contemplate it. If you see his words as unimportant, that is a mockery already, whether you've even said anything about it or not. But in perception, if one is not seeing one's words of Rebbe as words of Torah, lofty words put on the pedestal to be sacred, that is a mockery. That is a mockery. And so he was judged with hot feces, because his whole perception was all waste. He could have gained so much, but it's just pure waste and pure rotten waste with no beneficial value. One will not have any benefit from any Rebbe if he does not see his Rebbe's words as sacred, if he's only thinking about what he thinks to be right, and not putting his words up there of his Rebbe. So that's a mockery. And so he was judged in that way. So perhaps it's in light of this historical dynamic that was taking place with Rabbi Shua ben Bracha and his disciple here, the so-called disciple. So he was emphasizing, Aseh l'cha Rav, you need to make your Rebbe, not just learn by him, not just by study by him, but you need to make him your Rebbe. Okay. Yes.
Good.